Yeah, hi, this is Devin Jasani, and today I'm going to give a presentation on the play Dutchman by LeRoi Jones. Now, starting with his life, he was born in 1934 in Newark, New Jersey. He changed his name to Amiri Baraka in 1968. It means Prince or the Blessed One. He changed it when he was undergoing changes as a literature maker. He attended the traditional African American institution named Harvard University in 1952. Although he did not graduate, he did not attain a degree, get a degree. He was majoring in philosophy, I think. In 1954, he served in the U.S. Air Force. Later, he was discharged due to unapproved political activities. After the assassination of Malcolm X, the African American Muslim minister and human rights activist, in 1965, Baraka left his wife and his two children and moved to Harlem. Now, about his works, Baraka moved to Greenwich Village in New York in 1954, where he started his work. He befriended some white innovators like Gilbert Sorrentino, Diana Di Parma, and Frank O'Hara. He worked with these innovators on the magazine culture besides editing and publishing his own journals. The Dutchman is an Obie Award-winning play. It established him in the intellectual elite quarters of New York's poetry, art, and music. At present, Baraka has been teaching at the University of New York. He continues to write essays about jazz and social subjects. Now coming to the play, the setting of the play is in the New York subway. The setting is made aware through the roar of the trains and the flashing of lights as it speeds and slows and occasionally stops for passengers. The entire play takes place in the subway. Now talking about the play. Dutchman is one act play that was first presented at the Cherry Lane Theatre in New York City in March 1964. It was written in 1963 exactly. It's about a black male and a white female. It was cited as an interracial Adam and Eve. The play starts out with the 20-year-old Clay riding on the subway. Lula makes a somewhat seductive entrance and starts talking with Clay. She is very seductive and makes him feel comfortable until she begins to insult and embarrass him on the train. He smacks him around a little, and when he decides to get off the train, she stabs him twice, killing him. The rest of the people on the train ignore it and quickly exit. On comes another young black man, and Lula begins the next act. Now, the themes in this play, the first is racism. It suggests assimilation and self-hatred. Racial oppression and racial hatred lie at the heart of the play Dutchman. Clay is a representative form of assimilation practiced by many of the black middle class people who want to get themselves absorbed in the white culture. The following lines in my presentation suggest that when Clay speaks, well, in college I thought I was a Baudelaire, but I've slowed down since. To which Eula replies, I bet you never once thought you are a black nigger. Okay, the second theme is sex, which is can be indicated by the way Eula talks and moves her body, etc. Um, Clay wants to get absorbed into white society, so he won't let chance an opportunity like this to go. Uh, then the third theme is manipulation. Uh, it is suggested by the following line when Lula says, "Wouldn't you like me would you like to take me to the party? The Clay is going to a party, uh, and Yula wants to join him to the party, so he intimidates Clay into inviting her to the party. The next theme is betrayal. Uh, in the end of the play, Yula stabs him and kills him. That is the sign of betrayal. Okay. Now coming to the my part of presentation, that is on major characters. There are two major characters in this play. That is Lula and Clay. Now first, talking about Lula, she is a 30-year-old white woman. Uh, she is a flirty woman who is trying to seduce Clay with sexual actions, and she is an apple offering Eve uh, to his clumsy and naive Adam, which is Clay. Beulah is the embodiment of Western civilization, seductive and greedy, relentless, but also psychotic, lonely, trapped by her own cultural identity. And all throughout the play, we have noticed her she keeps eating apples. It can be connected to the myth of Snow White tale, where she is poisoned with the apple she eats and is in a death-like state, just like Beulah's identity is in a death-like state, still not in existence but dormant, which comes alive at the end of the play. The myth of Snow White has been ingrained in Clay's memory and has become a part of his identity. When he asks who is the fairest one of all, his response recognizes the racist undertone of the Snow White myth, and he says, "Don't you forget it." This is Clay's way of letting Lula know that the white man won't allow him to forget that he is black. The fact that Baraka uses Snow White here instead of other myth is to emphasize the white myth, the power of the society to impose upon its members that white is the fairest, not black. And uh, all throughout the play, she makes racial comments about Clay, but Clay chooses to ignore it because he wants to be accepted by the white society. Okay, now coming to the character of Clay. He is a 20-year-old black man. He is a person with a manners. Uh, it is suggested by the book that he is reading, his clothing, his attire. He is a character who represents the compromise. He compromises his own identity in order to maintain a peaceful relation with his white oppressors. Clay is a typical uh, bourgeois black male, you can say, so predictable that Lula is able to tell his life story by the evidence of his dress, his demeanor, his style of speech. Clay is at first attracted to the lady Lula, who begins a taunting seduction of him and invites herself along to his friend's party. But a sudden mood swing and unexpectedly violent racist language shocks him. Even so, he humiliates himself in his attempts to maintain his composure at all costs and to match her violence with intellectual dexterity. For some reason, he is intrigued by her as though she is some kind of a social test that he's desperately want to pass. He doesn't want to fail at it. But the truth is that it is in his very anxiety to prove himself worthy to her. Okay, now coming to the There is one character here in the play, which is he's not a main character. I'm talking about the conductor. Yeah, he's a kind of a stereotypical black character. He seems content with his lowly station in relation to whites. I mean, he doesn't want to give an impression to people about what he's not. I mean, he's being himself, and you can see his quick soft shoe shuffle before exiting the rail car is a symbolic of the way blacks express their suppressed freedom through artistic forms such as dance, music, and songs. Okay, now is the conclusion that I come to after seeing this play. Throughout the play, there are many instances where Jones uses imagery to entice his audience. The opening of the play does it and is used to set up scenery. In, uh, in the play, in the opening section, we can read, in the flying underbelly of the city, steaming hot and summer on top, outside, underground, the subway heaped in modern myth. This introductory passage is filled with hidden messages and vivid use of imagery. The words underbelly, steaming, hot, on top, and underground suggest not only sexual connotations but also gives off the impression that something is trying to be hidden because to some eyes it is immoral. This is in the line with the sorry sexual nature of the play. Okay, now coming to my review. I found this review on the New York Times website. It is by Genia Belafonte. Uh, it says that Dutchman, the poet Amiri Baraka's controversial 1964 race play has always seemed an unwieldy and ineffective boxing glove jabbing at the malignancies of American capitalism. The kind of artless art James Baldwin had in mind 15 years earlier when he coined the phrase protest fiction in the Partitions Review. The white person who goes to see this is supposed to leave feeling like a viper sent off to repent. The middle class African American is meant to go home regarding any embrace of prosperity as weak, self negating, and lethal, both political and spiritual. You can read the whole review on the website that I mentioned at the bottom of the slide. Okay, now coming to the questions. What would motivate Jones to write this play? Why does Lula choose Clay? Why did Lula kill Clay? During what time was Amiri Baraka renowned as the founder of Black Arts Movement in Harlem? This concludes my presentation. Thank you.